Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV. Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, bringing you all of the latest news and stories from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Yesterday was School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, and here in West Bloomfield, our bus drivers do so much more than drop the kids off at school every morning. They set the example for the day for every single one of these students, being the first person they see every morning and the last person they see before heading home. I spoke with some of the drivers for West Bloomfield to hear what they had to say about their day-to-day job and the bonds they form with the students.
The joy of is picking the kids up in the morning, telling them good morning, letting them know they're going to have a great day. I'm getting them to school safe, and really just, and then my spare time, we have like 5 or 10 minutes between time, and we play games on the bus. They love playing Pass It. They love playing Simon Says, and they enjoy it, and I like to see the smile on the kids' face. Well, we start the day by saying good morning, greeting them by name. They like to know, I know that each one of my kids' name. So I just have like a connection saying good morning to them. I've been driving for over 15 years, and they know me, and they can talk to me, and I just like doing it.
I still keep in contact with a lot of my kids that have graduated. I've helped them in careers that they've done outside of here and moved forward. And some of them come back even when out of state. When they come home to visit, they come pop in to see me because I made an impact on them in middle school or high school or whatnot. And that's what I enjoy the most. Because I tell my kids when they're on my bus, they're my kids. So if they're on my bus that year, they become my children, and they know they can talk to me about anything, and I will help them with anything that they need outside of school even. You know, I'll go to their plays, I go to their games, you know, whatever they need, I'm there for them.
I'd have to say there was one child in particular that was having a rough time, special needs, you know, just hard to transition everything. But as soon as he saw me, his eyes lit up, big old smile on his face. He knew he was getting home safe, and I think that's what matters.
Well, I think most people realize, they realize that we drive and we have kids, but I don't think they realize the job, what it entails to get hired in. I'm also our full-time trainer for all of the new drivers, and pre-tripping our buses that we have to do in the morning and making sure the buses are safe for the road is a huge thing, and just dealing with traffic. I mean, we're cut off left and right by parents in the district or kids, new drivers and kids and things like that. So looking out, just doing the job itself, not just actually interacting with all the kids.
And they do amazing work with their job, talking with these kids, making them feel safe, and getting them to school on time every single day. As we thank the bus drivers all throughout the community and beyond, and even all throughout the United States. As National Volunteer Month wraps up in Greater West Bloomfield, we look to showcase the many opportunities and people working to make the community a better place. There are many volunteers working throughout West Bloomfield, including at the Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. Volunteer services assist in many different parts of the hospital to help the patients with whatever services they need. I spoke with some of the volunteers to hear how they first got involved with the hospital and how they hope to inspire more people to lend a hand.
Well, I think for me, this volunteer gig is really great. I'm here for 4 hours. I walk between 4 and 5 miles. I meet nice people, and I give back a little bit to my community. I live about 1.5 miles away, so it's an easy way to get here and then provide a service here at the desk. It's very interactive. In my previous life, I was in education and I was a school administrator, and I had a lot of contact with a lot of people all the time. And this helps provide that as well for me, is to provide a way for me to connect with folks and be helpful, which is great for me.
What got you involved with volunteer work for Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital?
I have always loved medical things, even though I did not work in that profession. I was a high school teacher, and one of the things that I love about volunteering at a hospital is whatever you do, you give 100%, and then you can walk out with no homework. It's wonderful. Nothing to grade, nothing to prepare. You just show up. But the best part really is people. You just see human beings of every age, shape, and size, and if you're a people person, that's very satisfying.
What do you have to say about volunteers and what they really bring to the community and just what they provide for services like Henry Ford Health?
They're as valuable as any employee. They're part of the team. And Henry Ford has really welcomed me and reminded me of that I'm not just an extra, but I'm also part of the team and a valuable part of the team.
So I'm a radiology student, and I was looking for something that would solidify that this is something I want to do in the future. And volunteering in the ED has been more than that. It has showed me that there's compassion in the hospital system, that there's nurses and doctors that still care about their patients, and I've never felt so at home somewhere in my entire life. I think it's amazing because I think people need to actually feel that they can go volunteer and that it's okay. I feel that anybody that's volunteered at least once in their life gets this little bit of fulfillment that they're lacking in their life or don't realize they're lacking, and it shows you helping your better man is something that's very important in our community, especially in today's day.
What would you say to people maybe looking to devote their time to volunteer in any aspect of whatever they choose to do? What would you have to say to them?
You have to pick your lane. You have to decide where, what time. I picked at Henry Ford. I'm there on Monday nights starting at 6 or 7 o'clock, depending on the season, how much I want to drive at night. So I picked that so that I can do other things during the day. So part of that is when I'm available, and part of it is when I can be most useful at night in the emergency room. Seems like, they always say it's a Monday night. So we're really busy tonight, and I'm glad to be there to help in that time.
Well, I think that the way to do that is to step in and give it a go. I mean, you can stand from the outside and look in and say, yeah, I mean, volunteering would probably be a cool thing to do. But really, the way to experience that is to step up and step in and be a person that does do some volunteering. And then do a little assessment, self-assessment. Does this fit for me? Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you want to go do something different. But the only way to find that out is to really do it and to get in there and be a volunteer somewhere.
It's been amazing to showcase all of these incredible volunteer efforts all throughout Greater West Bloomfield, all throughout the month of April, as we thank every single one of these volunteers for the work that they do to help the community and to make it a better place. Gesher Human Services is offering a paid summer internship program designed specifically for high school students with disabilities across Metro Detroit, including West Bloomfield. The program will serve up to 150 students from Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb counties, providing real-world job experience in a supportive environment. The 6-week program runs from July 6th all the way to August 13th, offering structured hands-on work experience during the summer months. Renee Dell, the Vice President for Vocational Rehabilitation for Gesher Services, joined us on The Splash recently to tell us more.
Renee, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Happy to have you on. As was mentioned, there's a lot of jobs that are going to be available, and these jobs are both community focused. They have some vocational ties and a number of different career fields, and they're particularly in this case aimed at those with disabilities who may not otherwise have this great of an opportunity, maybe perhaps for their summer coming up ahead. Why is it important for Gesher Human Services to put in the effort to not only seek these opportunities, but also guide these individuals that they're aimed at toward these real-world job opportunities that also come with a paycheck?
Yeah, we really believe that everybody that has a desire to work should be afforded the opportunity to work. And so we feel that allowing high school students the opportunity to get that real-life work experience where they're taking the skills that they're learning in the classrooms of what it takes to get a job and to be a good employee and putting them into real practice. And for many of the students, this is their first time earning a paycheck. And so it gives them a lot of pride and enjoyment, and they're building skills and beginning to build their resume. And so that's something that we get really excited about.
And the fact of the matter is, these individuals with disabilities, it doesn't eliminate them from these job opportunities or these career fields. If anything, these are opportunities that help them embrace these opportunities for them in the future. How do you find that those with disabilities get into these jobs and then translate that maybe in the months afterward or the years afterward into turning these into real careers that are quite successful?
Yeah, it's really starting the foundation of their work history and allowing them to gain valuable work skills, to get an idea about what type of work they like, as well as what type of work they may not like, really trying to find jobs that are good job matches, and then being able to take those skills and put them into practice later down the line, adding that to their resume as they're deciding what's the next step after high school. And for some of these students, they even have the opportunity to gain permanent employment with an after-school job once the summer internship has ended.
And there's something to be said, too, about that confidence level that you can get from having an opportunity like this, where, unfortunately, in our society, so many look at people with disabilities, whether it be a physical disability, a cognitive disability, a learning disability. They look at that as being something that hampers people from being able to get into these job fields. And that does translate back to those that are affected by this. How do you find that these opportunities help to provide a sense of confidence for individuals that these are targeted at to be able to then say, hey, look, I can do this. I'm more than capable of doing this. And then they end up leading the charge themselves afterward?
Yeah, so it's really great because getting out there in the community is showing people in the community that people with different abilities deserve a chance in the workforce, and that a disability doesn't define somebody. And so often when they're comparing themselves to their age appropriate peers, they may think that goals that other people have are outside of their reach. And when they're able to get into these internships and see that they can excel, that they can do a variety of work across a variety of different settings, it really does help to boost their confidence. And then when they return to school, they're able to talk about their job and their summer internship and really empower other people to see that, like, even if you have barriers to employment, that doesn't mean that work opportunities are beyond your reach. And with the desire to work, there really is the right job out there for everyone.
So this is going to be a program that will serve up to 150 students from the Tri-County area, Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb County. So it's not necessarily just isolated to people in our community and neighboring communities right here in Oakland County. This is something that if it affects you at home and your child, you individually, you can spread this to other people so that they can get into it. Community-based jobs, 6-week program, July 6th to August 13th. How do people get involved, Renee?
Yeah, so by getting involved, you can reach out to your Michigan Rehabilitation Services counselor, your high school transition coordinator, or you can reach out directly to Gesher Human Services. Our website is www.geshermi.org, and we would be more than happy to help get you on the path to be able to participate in these wonderful opportunities.
These opportunities, too, this experience has in the past from those that have been through this, been described in part as life-changing. What sort of transformations do you typically see from these individuals that go through this 6-week program, get that job coaching, and get that real-world work opportunity?
Yeah, so often when people come in, they don't fully understand what it necessarily takes to be a good employee. And so we tend to see a lot of growth and progress. By the end of the program, they're showing up on time, interacting appropriately with their peers and customers, taking direction from their job coach and their manager, and really improving their productivity and speed. So by the end of the 6-week program, they've really gained valuable transferable work skills that they can use on their next work opportunity. They can take it back to school and relate it to the things that they had been relating to career exploration in the classroom. And they can really use it as a launching pad for their first work experience and really setting them up on a path for success, knowing that they can do challenging things and that work is within their reach. And when they've been able to end the summer on a successful note, it lets them know that their barriers didn't define them and that there are accommodations available and a support system to help set them up for success.
And there's tons of different areas and fields that can be explored through this, whether it be local parks and organizations like that, or St. John's Resort, Bush's Fresh Food Market also involved in this. So it's workplaces, it's individuals with disabilities looking for those job opportunities, that vocational training. And then on top of that, what's also needed are job coaches. About 30 are needed to cover these up to 150 students that will participate in this program. Renee, what is Gesher Human Services and its partners looking for in these job coaches?
Yeah, so this is a short-term, 6-week job opportunity that can be, between 30 to 50 hours per week, depending on how much you're wanting to work. We find it to be a great fit for school professionals that have the summer off and are just looking to supplement their income. So teachers, parapro, lunchroom staff. We're looking for individuals with a high school diploma and a clean criminal background check. And they can reach out to us at Gesher Human Services, and we would be more than happy to get them the application and get them in for an interview, because the job coaches really are the heartbeat of our summer program, and they are the ones that really help to get those students on their path for success.
What are some of the examples of the individual help that those coaches do provide to these individuals that participate in the program?
Yeah, so what they're doing is just making sure that they know their daily task and what's expected for them. And if they do have any barriers or need accommodations, they're able to show them adaptations to help them adapt the job tasks in order to meet their needs. So for example, we had somebody working at the Farmington Library that had difficulty with shelving books. So we were able to make like an alphabet guide that she was able to put on the shelf, and it would help her to know where in the shelf that set of books would go that she was currently working on. So there's a lot of tools and techniques that can be implemented to help people along. And that's really the main tasks of our job coaches, are being there to support and encourage the students and just to make sure that their needs are being met.
Renee Dell is with us from Gesher Human Services. They have a program ongoing now that will be happening in July through the early portions of August to help those with disabilities with job opportunities right here in Greater West Bloomfield, throughout Oakland County, as well as Wayne and Macomb counties as well. More information available on GesherMI.org, or you can follow Gesher Human Services on Facebook at Gesher Human Services. Jennifer, Renee, sorry, we earlier on, we know earlier on we spoke about how this program can impact those individuals with disabilities as they're looking into possible career fields, as they're getting job opportunities, as they're acclimating to a workplace environment. How do you find on the other side that this impacts those individual businesses, those industries, and those workers who may not have previously been in an environment where they are working alongside somebody with a disability?
Yeah, our community partners are so incredible, and it really does turn out to be a win-win situation for all involved, because our community partners are getting valuable employees at no cost to them. And we find that the management team and the regular staff really embrace our students. They enjoy having them there. They look forward to a new group returning each summer. And it's really the support of those community partners that really contribute to the overall success of this program, where they have a mission to make their workforces, equal, and to give everybody an equal opportunity to be a part of the team. And so that's the one thing that really makes this program so rewarding, is just to see these community employers embracing our students and bringing them on as part of their team and treating them with the dignity and respect that everybody else gets. And by the end of the summer, we're all celebrating the great successes.
The program runs July 6th until August 13th. Before we let you go, Renee, where can people apply to become part of this program, whether they're looking for those jobs or want to be a job coach? And are there any deadlines people should be aware of?
Yeah, so the earlier you definitely apply, the better, but reaching out to us at our website is one great point, or for the students, their Michigan Rehabilitation Services counselor or high school transition counselors can definitely get them the application to participate. But if anybody needs help guiding them through that process at Gesher Human Services, we're always willing and ready to provide any help and support that's needed.
More information is available at GesherMI.org, and you can follow Gesher Human Services for more info on this program and others similar to it on Facebook at Gesher Human Services. Renee, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Amazing resources available courtesy of Gesher Human Services. We appreciate Renee Dell for taking the time to talk with us here on the Splash Live. A community fundraiser is being organized to support a well-known and beloved Keego Harbor bartender. Bartender Chris Baker recently suffered a stroke and underwent emergency brain surgery. She's currently facing paralysis on the left side of her body and a long, uncertain recovery process. The fundraiser aims to help cover mounting medical bills, rehabilitation costs, and everyday living expenses as she begins recovery. The event will take place on May 9th at 1 p.m. at Brew House Bar and Grill in Keego Harbor. Joining us now on the Splash Live to tell us more is the marketing and direction coordinator for this event, Sarah Henderson. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, really amazing benefit that you are putting together for Chris Baker. Can you share a little more about her and the impact she's had on the Keego Harbor community?
She's a staple. She's a staple of Keego Harbor, of B1, where she's worked for, I think, 6 years now. She's like the leader of group therapy, I would say there. There are regulars that come in, during the daytime just specifically to see her. She's a gem of the community. Everybody knows her, from the chief of police to, the local. I mean, I work at Buscemi's, and the owners there know Chris and know her daughter. So she's very much needed around. We need her back.
It sounds like, really sounds like she's made such an impact on this community. And I would imagine when everybody heard about the medical issue that she's dealing with right now, people jumped into action pretty quickly, it sounds like.
It was a rally around the family moment for sure. We jumped into go mode. It was just a spider web of connecting with others that cared very deeply about her and her daughter. What can we do to help her? What can we do to help her family while they're supporting her? I mean, it's very difficult to put your life on hold as, your parents, as the parents of her, or, or everything being so up in the air with the progress and all that, and her daughter. It was just, we all wanted to do what we could, whatever we could do to make it easier for her and easier for her family to support her.
Of course, and that's amazing to hear of all of the work that you and everyone involved with this fundraiser is doing to benefit Chris and her family. Why was it so important for friends and community members to come together to organize this fundraiser and to really bring the whole community and bring them involved?
Keego Harbor is a very, very small town, and everybody knows everybody. What I think the larger message across the board is that when something like this happens to somebody within our community, the support is going to be there. Not unlike a church group, where when something like that happens and you're part of a parish, they support you. So we want everyone to know that if anybody that would walk in shoes or a path similar to this, that the support would be there for them. So let's just pay it forward right now, so that if we ever find ourselves in a similar position, that the support is there for the next person as well. Right now, the focus is on Chris and her daughter, though, for sure.
That's absolutely right. And I'd imagine when this news came out, what has the response been like in terms of donations, volunteers, and event participation so far?
Oh, it's been overwhelming. We have had, the reach has been outstanding, to be honest with you. We've had individual donations made to the Venmo that we had set up. One of our team members, so to speak, took on the finance aspect. So she's in charge of making sure that, when donations come in, we're allocating them appropriately, and what gets set aside for, everything gets set aside for Chris or for the opportunity to create more profitability that would then benefit her. But so from those cash donations to the local businesses, everybody just wants to jump in and do what they can. It is the response has been widely, what do you want? What do you need? And how can I help? And that's expanded beyond Keego Harbor too, so it's been overwhelming and inspiring.
It absolutely is inspiring. And like you said, when it comes to a small town like Keego Harbor, where everybody knows everybody, you absolutely do want to jump into action and help in any way that you possibly can for someone that you know very well. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Sarah Henderson about the upcoming benefit for Chris Baker, a beloved Keego Harbor bartender who recently suffered a stroke and is going to be undergoing brain surgery soon. And this is a benefit to raise funds and to help her and her family through this trying time. Now, Sarah, what does this event say about the importance of supporting friends and neighbors during times of crisis?
Yeah, I think it says, especially for our little community in Keego Harbor, that we will do what needs to be done, and everybody will jump in and help. Um, there's just an immense amount of support in this community, and that that is being shown and spread in such a way that everybody can participate in whatever way that they can, and know that if it were them or a family member, that there would be support as well. So just, it's a reiteration of what a small community can do to support their own.
That's absolutely right. And there's many ways for people to go out and support. Like you, as we said, that this benefit is going to be taking place on May 9th. How can people who are unable to attend still continue or show their support?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a Venmo account set up just for Chris and her daughter. I will provide you the QR code, and if you wouldn't mind putting that on the socials when you post this video, that would be incredibly helpful. If you can't attend the event, you can talk to anybody at B1. Tony there has been absolutely supportive. We're mutually supportive of each other. This is the first of many events that we're working together to host for Chris's benefit. And Tony has been just a gem throughout this process as well. So you can go in and see Tony. You can go into any of the local, if you see the flyer anywhere, you can make a donation there as well. We will have t-shirts for sale. If there was a word to describe Chris, it'd have to be two, and it'd be tough, and it would be mother. So we got tough as a mother with, her initials on it. We'll have those t-shirts for sale pretty soon, and a link on her Facebook page for those. I can provide you with contact information for any of us on this group, any of us in this group that are helping plan this, and reach out to any of us. And if you can't make it to the event, but still want to offer help, we will do whatever we can to help you help her.
We'll take every single bit of help that there possibly is, all for an incredible cause. Sarah, I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up. What message do you hope this fundraiser and this benefit sends about compassion, unity, and looking out for one another?
Each one of us in this group that's organizing this event, we are our own nucleus through our own connections within our community. So we all either live or work in Keego Harbor, or both. I happen to live in Commerce and work in Keego Harbor. So I have connections that are branching out in Commerce. We have Clarkson, we have Troy, we have Auburn Hills, West Bloomfield. So to get together and help each other and lean on our own person, and just the growth is there exponentially, and the opportunity is there to truly support a family in a time of crisis, but not just in the moment of crisis, for the months thereafter. The recovery process is so unknown, and we're so unsure of what that's going to entail as far as medical costs go. And beyond that, things like transportation, I mean, the things that you don't think about. We all grocery shop, but if you have to have your groceries, let's say DoorDash or delivered, that's an added expense. I mean, and we do not know how long someone in this position is going to need that kind of support. So to have a network of people who then have their own network of people, it's an exponential impact in a positive way.
It's just casting a wider net all throughout the community. And that's where change happens, with the people you know and the bonds that you create. Sarah, where can people go to gain a little bit more information about this benefit and how they can help?
On Chris Baker's Facebook page, we have shared a flyer. I will share the link with you. I will send you a PDF of the flyer as well. And if you would like to post it on your socials, again, we would be grateful. Locally, I mean, you can't walk into any restaurant or any store and not see the flyer and get the information, but we will make sure that we're constantly sharing it and reminding people and our support system so that they can share it as well in the coming weeks leading up to the event.
Well, it's amazing to hear of all of the work that's been done so far and all of the help that's come to Chris's aid. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you again for having me.
Of course. Once again, this benefit for Chris Baker is going to be taking place on May 9th at 1 o'clock p.m. at Brewhouse Bar and Grill in Keego Harbor. Hope to see a lot of people out there helping Chris, benefiting her family, and to be spreading this love and support all throughout the greater West Bloomfield community. The Kids Komotion Concert Series returns this year, bringing interactive, family-friendly entertainment to West Bloomfield all throughout the summer. Hosted by West Bloomfield Parks, the series is designed to engage young audiences with music, movement, and hands-on fun. There will be 3 concerts this summer. The first one is scheduled for Thursday, May 14th at Marshbank Park with musical guest, the fairy godmother of music. And wouldn't you know it, the godmother herself is joining us today on the Splash Live to tell us more. Melissa Baring. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash.
Hi, Jake. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. Love hearing about this. I mean, Kids Komotion is truly a sign that summer is coming very, very soon here in Greater West Bloomfield. So I'm very looking forward to this and very looking forward to your performance as well as the fairy godmother of music. Can you tell us a little bit about your persona and how it came to life?
Sure. Well, basically, I've been a musician forever. And since I was born, the joke is I came out singing. But, younger people need access to musicians. I was a touring artist for Princess Cruises for about 7 years. So I've been around the whole world. And when I returned to Metro Detroit, I started working with some younger kids and found that they really enjoy live music with a real person. And so having the opportunity to see someone play guitar, to hear a lot of cover songs that they enjoy. I have a program that's mostly Disney-oriented songs, as well as some classic children's songs that everyone can sing along to and know. As I got back here to the area, I'm from Michigan originally. I got back to the area and I really just started getting engaged teaching kids and realized that it was a way I could really help build strength for younger people when they get some attention from an artist that's willing to really engage, look them in the eye. I get them to sing along with me. I teach them some songs in some foreign languages. I tell them some jokes about the places I've been around the world, and we go on kind of a journey throughout my program of different places. So we'll sing some songs in French, depending upon kind of what they're interested in. When I'm there, we might go down a path of something that's a little bit more comedic, and I'll get them to open up their imaginations and help me create lyrics to some songs. I like to have them dance and some of the traditional things that you would expect to see in a kids program. You Are My Sunshine. And sometimes we do the hokey pokey. It depends on how they're feeling. Sometimes they just really want to get up and move and not be so structured. And so, freeform dance is encouraged as well. I played this show for West Bloomfield a few years ago and really enjoyed being a part of the community and helping make a really great event. I had no idea how fun it really was until I got there, and it was a blast. So I was honored to be welcomed back.
Yeah, it is an absolute blast. I mean, I've been to a couple of the Kids Komotion concerts in the past, and you just see the joy on everybody's face as they're enjoying this music and just enjoying the camaraderie with everyone else in the community. And you just touched on this, that you've done the show before, but what does it really mean to you to bring your music and your message to the West Bloomfield community with a performance like this one?
Well, folks really need an outlet today. They need a chance to blow off some steam, to have, to have a chance to forget. Even little people need that right now. You'd be surprised at how much they're exposed to today. And so by unplugging for a few minutes with me, and I plug my guitar in, and getting a chance to really just be together makes everyone, like, it just lifts your heart. It helps like the whole entire community, like, kick off the whole summer. Like, we're close to summer break, right? So this whole opportunity to look at what you have coming forward this summer, to hear some great music, to really just feel better. Not that everybody feels bad, but when you're around music and you can sing along and dance, it just really changes how you feel, and it changes the energy in your person. So I want to come and, spread some love.
And that's what everyone is looking forward to. They're ready to feel the love, and they're ready to feel the joy with this performance. Now, you touched on this a little bit, but how do you tailor your performances to engage and connect with young audiences and to help them become involved?
Yeah. Well, engaging and connecting is an interestingly complicated thing. Like I said briefly, unplugging, I think, will help. And generally during this kind of a performance, they're not on a screen, they're not engaged that way. So when I ask them questions, they'll answer me. They'll get really involved. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to see something funny, come and watch me, an adult woman, deal with other people's very tiny children and the peculiar questions they will indeed ask me while I'm standing there singing songs and playing guitar. It never fails. As soon as I open the floor to them helping me create some words to whatever I'm singing, they tend to pick some very interesting things. And it will often go off the tracks or on the tracks, depending upon which kid is involved. But there's always a few that kind of get everyone else engaged. And when I ask them a couple questions, when I sing a song that they know and encourage them to sing along, I'll teach them some backup parts to some of the songs I sing. I get them to do a little bit of vocal warm-ups too, so that they feel like they're ready to sing. We do a little bit of musical alphabet games. So yeah, it's going to depend 100% on how these kids act. But I have a feeling, since I've been there with them before, they know a lot of these songs, and no matter the age, they tend to be typical things that they've heard from either films or something maybe their grandparents have sang to them. So I tend to engage them that way, like, come and sing with me, come and stand with me on the stage. Do you want to feel my guitar? Have you ever played a guitar? So oftentimes I let them strum my guitar. I have some eggs that are shaky eggs, and right next to me. But they're some things so that they can play musical instruments with me. So yeah, just a lot of fun stuff.
It sounds like a blast. And hey, I was a little kid myself too, way back when, so I know the kinds of questions that can typically be thrown out there. But hey, you do a lot. You help keep everybody in line, and everyone's going to have a blast at this event. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the fairy godmother of music herself, Melissa Baring, who's going to be the concert performer for the first Kids Komotion concert that's going to be taking place this year on May 14th at Marshbank Park in West Bloomfield. Now, Melissa, how do events like Kids Komotion help strengthen community connections all throughout Greater West Bloomfield and beyond?
A few years ago, I said I would like to play local community concerts in local parks. I wasn't looking for a big stage or, Little Caesars Arena or anything like that. I've been a working musician for a very long time. And I found that as I approach each community across our state and across our country, they're really receptive to someone who's had these global experiences coming locally and sharing kind of these stories and tales. And I think the music piece of what I bring really changes the just changes the experience for everyone in the park, in the downtown area. For instance, if I'm playing in a downtown area, and I sing a lot of music that people know, and so you can really come together with a song that you know. I mean, if you think about, for instance, Happy Birthday. How many times have you sang that, Jake? I mean, a million times. And it is the center point of coming together with friends and family, right? And so I'm not going to sing. Well, if it's somebody's birthday, I will sing Happy Birthday there. But I will sing songs like that help the community itself, like, connect, because music is a line throughout, I think, the general populace. It's a common language, no matter what words you're saying. The melody, it brings people together when they are all singing the same line.
It just invokes those happy memories, and it just spreads positivity, even if they're songs that everybody knows by heart. Like, they just really have such an effect on kids, and especially young audiences like this one. Melissa, I have one more question for you before we wrap things up. Out of everything that's going to be taking place at your concert, what do you hope is the biggest thing children take away from your show after the music ends?
Oh, music is your best friend throughout your whole entire life. No matter how good or bad your day is, it will follow you and hold your hand no matter what you're doing. That's what I hope they understand when I'm done.
Brilliant words to take away, and brilliant words for everybody to remember. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thanks so much for having me, Jake. What a joy.
Of course, and what a joy to speak with you about this. Again, Kids Komotion Concerts are back. They're going to be taking place. The first one's going to be taking place on May 14th, Thursday at Marshbank Park. You can check out Melissa there in person and join in with the festivities and to celebrate the start of a beautiful, warm summer season in West Bloomfield. The 6th Michigan Regional Glass Exhibit brings together talented glass artists from across the state, showcasing the creativity and innovation within this unique medium. Hosted in West Bloomfield, the exhibit highlights the region's growing reputation as a hub for arts and culture. Wyatt Theory, the curator for this year's showcase, joined us on The Splash recently to tell us all about it. Wyatt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, this is such a fun event. Looking forward to in West Bloomfield. Love seeing all this great art come this way to the community. What inspired the creation of the Michigan Regional Glass Exhibit, and how has it grown over the years?
So it's been going on for a long time. From my understanding and from being in the studio of its founder, Albert Young, and its regular curator, it's really about bringing people who use this material together in their various stages of working with it. So we have people who've been working with glass for decades, people who are undergraduates at universities, people who do it as a hobby. And that's a really unique perspective from a curatorial standpoint. You know, a lot of shows focus on a very specific, very limited scope of work. And so it's really nice to see sort of this medium in all of its walks, you know, on display at once. It's a really powerful thing. And we're excited to see it change.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. It's a very fascinating form of art. I mean, you really see a lot of expression, a lot of creativity when it comes to glass art and glasswork like this. What makes glass such a unique and compelling medium for artists to work with?
That's a good question. I think it remains to be seen. I mean, glass probably has the shortest lifespan so far in America as like a studio art material. The studio glass movement didn't really start until the 70s or the 80s. And so we're really starting to see it come into its own. And exhibitions like this help us answer that question of, okay, what does it mean to work with this material in our specific context? Like, it's had its history in Rome and in the Czech Republic and all over the world. And now it's, you know, it's time for us to write our history of like what it means to work with this material. So that's why working at an exhibition like this is so exciting, because I get to see that history develop firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, so many great artists and so many great forms of glasswork that are all going to be on display at this event. What can visitors expect to see at this year's exhibit that maybe sets it apart from the previous years it's taken place?
Sure. I think we have some really great student work from Ohio specifically. Like there's people that have submitted from all over across the country. I'm really excited to see work from Maura Santiago, who's from Ohio State, Lillian Hoffman from Bowling Green. There's some great work from Detroit too. Andrew Wu, he's a musician, artist. I'm always really excited to see his work. I think we're starting to see the beginning of glass move outside of the aesthetic only realm, which is really exciting. We're looking beyond sort of the classic qualifiers of what makes glass art. And we're starting to see people really push, into what this material can be on its own.
For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Wyatt Theory, the manager and curator of the 6th Michigan Regional Glass Exhibit, which is set to take place on Sunday, May 3rd at the Janice Chair Gallery in West Bloomfield. Now, Wyatt, are there any standout or particularly innovative pieces that you're really excited for the public to experience with this showcase?
Sure. There's a work I said by Maura Santiago called Accidental Overflow, I believe, where it's very specific assemblage of objects of both found in like cast concrete and paint. Lillian Hausman's work has to do with like cameras and how glass exists in a surveillance state. And I really think those things are what sets work at this exhibition apart. Because it's not simply recreation of classical design, of Venetian design. There is that work here too, which is great. It's good to include everything. But we're really seeing people start to expand on those ideas and explore like what glass as a material means in our current state, in our current time.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And I'm curious, how does this exhibit help to support and elevate Michigan-based artists that are being showcased with this exhibit?
Sure. I mean, everybody knows it's not easy to be an artist. That's like the classic thing. And so opportunities to come together and see work together and talk, maybe support each other financially, but the majority of it is the coming together and the sharing of ideas. It's like a tale as old as time. And that's what's really important about events like this, especially it being biannual. It gives people something to work towards. I have this idea, I'm going to spend the next 2 years to really develop this thing and have something really exciting to share with the other artists that I respect. And to see people who work at a level completely beyond me, people who work where I used to work, you really get to see people from all walks of the material.
You're absolutely right. And like you said, with this being every 2 years, I would imagine that really motivates people to make sure that what they have to showcase truly is exceptional and amazing for the community to see. Wyatt, last question before we let you go. How do you see the role of public art exhibits like this one shaping the cultural identity of a community?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think, it's a sampling of what we perceive as art and what we consider art. And that is really a gift. Like even if you go to this exhibition and you see things that you like, that's great. But it's also great to see things that you don't like and to see things that push you outside of what makes you comfortable and what, you expect to see in art. And that's how we really move things forward. Not in a uncomfortable way as in like, I don't want to look at this thing and like, get me out of here. But it's this, it's a place to create that dialogue, a place to explore things that we never would have been exposed to before, and a place that's safe and comfortable and like inviting for everybody, which is really exciting.
The exhibit opens up on May 3rd for the community to check out. You can go to the Janice Chair Gallery to see all of the beautiful glass art that is on display. We appreciate Wyatt for taking the time to talk with us here on the Splash Live. The National Junior Honor Society at West Bloomfield Middle School continues to recognize and elevate students who demonstrate excellence in scholarship, leadership, service, character, and citizenship. The recent induction ceremony celebrated a new class of members, honoring their academic achievements and commitment to making a positive impact both inside and outside the classroom. Hannah Kim, the leader of the National Junior Honor Society, joined us on The Splash recently to tell us the benefits of the program. Hannah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Jake. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Of course, love talking about this, love talking about the excellence of our community, especially from some of the younger members of that very same community. Can you explain what the National Junior Honor Society is and what it represents for students at West Bloomfield Middle School?
Of course. So, National Juniors Honor Society is an organization. It was founded in 1929 by a group of superintendents. And really, how I think of NJHS is that it's an organization that recognizes and also challenges students to uphold high standards for themselves as leaders, students, and individuals. This organization, I believe, is very unique because there are chapters in all 50 states. There are chapters all over the world. So it's an internationally recognized organization. And I know you mentioned specifically for West Bloomfield Middle School, I think that it represents becoming a member of the community. We really value leadership, and community is especially so important to West Bloomfield as a city. So we want to empower our students to really engage and feel like they're a member of the community.
I like that, and especially with so much inspiration to look at throughout the community to help inspire these kids and to bring them to become even better and to become, hopefully one day, pillars of that very same community. What are the key qualities or criteria students must meet in order to be inducted into the National Junior Honor Society?
That's a great question. So I intentionally wanted the selection process to be quite rigorous, and I wanted it to be selective just so they know that they're being held to a high standard. So one thing I'm looking for is high academic achievement, and they need to receive at least a 3.5 GPA in order to become a member. And that GPA also has to be maintained in order for them to renew their membership for the next year. Another thing is we want to see strong character. We want to see them display a high level of character and just excellent behavior all around. So we expect students to not have any suspensions. And again, they need to uphold that for the next year in order to renew. And then the last thing is we go through a pretty rigorous application process. One of the things that they have to do for the application is they have to list all their leadership and volunteer opportunities that they've done in the past. And then they also have to write an essay about one of the 5 pillars. NJHS really has these 5 pillars that they stand by. So there's scholarship, leadership, service, character, and citizenship. And so they have to choose one of those pillars, and they have to explain one that they value the most and how it can help them develop as an NJHS member. So there are many components to becoming a member of NJHS.
Sounds like it. A lot of things, a lot of boxes you got to check, but all for a great purpose and all for a great cause. How do National Junior Honor Society members really make an impact within the school and the broader West Bloomfield community, would you say?
That's a great question. So we offer service opportunities for students both in and outside of the school. So one thing that we do is we do school cleanups, and it sounds really simple, but I always enjoy doing it with the students because they feel like they have an impact on the school. They're holding themselves accountable as members of the building. And also they always tell me, like, I never knew, how much work goes into just cleaning up the school, maintaining the school. So I think seeing that, in a hands-on way is really impactful for them. And we also provide a lot of opportunities outside of the school, especially last year. We were working really closely with the community, and we had a really cool opportunity where there was a new cat shelter that opened up, and we collaborated with them, and they collected donations for the cats there, and they actually got to go and visit the cats and hang out with them. So they got to see directly their impact.
Oh, that's amazing. So many incredible opportunities to come as a part of this society. Now, Hannah, what does it mean to you personally to lead this organization and to see the change that these students make firsthand?
It means so much. It really means everything. I don't think we recognize students who are doing everything right as much as we should. Sometimes we're focused on all the craziness that's going on in the school, but I love and I feel very fortunate to be in a place where I can, empower these students and really, recognize them for their successes and push them in the right direction as future leaders.
That's absolutely right. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the leader of the National Junior Honor Society and West Bloomfield Middle School teacher Hannah Kim, talking about the benefits of becoming a part of a society like this and what students can learn and how they can serve as big pillars of the community. Now, I do want to go back to the recent induction ceremony that just took place. What was your role in organizing this year's ceremony, and what made it truly special?
Yeah, as the advisor for NJHS, I'm not going to lie, it was a lot of hard work, and I was the one that was really preparing and planning for the event, and luckily it was very successful. But I hold the students to a very high standard, and I hold myself to a high standard as well when planning the ceremony. But to me, the thing that was so special was just seeing the students' faces. And before the ceremony started, I actually walked down and got to chat with a couple students, just checking in, seeing how they're feeling. And they were just so proud of themselves. They were proud of their accomplishments. And again, I don't think we empower or recognize the students that do the right things enough. So it was really meaningful for me to just see their faces, talk to them, and just hear how proud of themselves they were.
I'd imagine so, and it really sounds like these students were understanding how big of a deal this truly was, and they knew just how much of a difference they were already making within the community at such a young age. Now, of course, with the work that these kids do with the Honor Society, we want to prepare them properly for the future. What skills or experiences can students gain from being a part of the National Junior Honor Society that will truly benefit them in the future?
Another great question. So I think I mentioned the 5 pillars, and that's a part of the application process is recognizing those 5 pillars. We really, drill it into them, things like, scholarship, leadership, service, character, and citizenship. But I think on a broader scale, we're really teaching them to be responsible leaders. We want them to hold themselves accountable. And in the future, especially as they head on to high school, they need to become more independent. They need to hold themselves more accountable. So this is just like a huge stepping stone for them. And even as they go into adulthood, finding their purpose, finding their passion, and really making an impact, these are just, again, it's a big stepping stone for them in that direction.
Absolutely. So many great things these kids can take away from being a part of this incredible honor society. I think another great aspect these kids can learn above all else is leadership. How does the National Junior Honor Society help foster leadership amongst middle school students?
Yeah, so it really is all about leadership, I think. So one of the things that the students are required to do is that they are required to have 10 service hours. And one part of, I guess, that leadership aspect is that they have to take initiative to find those service opportunities, but also when they arrive at the service opportunities, this is a kind of a new and uncomfortable situation for them. They might be, again, when we went to the cat shelter, they're not really familiar with that environment. But they have to be able to become a leader and take initiative in participating or helping in whatever activity they're doing.
All amazing things. Hannah, I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up. What are your goals for the future of the National Junior Honor Society at West Bloomfield Middle School?
So one of my goals is connecting more with the community. Again, we did connect and collaborate with a couple different organizations in the community, but I would love to broaden that, and I want them to, again, see their direct impact. So if they're fundraising or if they're donating or whatnot, they see the impact that they have. And the second thing is I would love to induct more members. We have 55 members, so a group of 7th, 8th graders, but we have 55 new members inducted this year, which I think is a big number, but I would love to see that number even grow. And I would also love to, give them some more visibility. So I'm really glad that I was invited to do this interview because I get to share all the wonderful things that our NJHS is doing, but I would love for the students to even be a part of that and see the visibility.
Of course, we want to showcase these students in any way that we possibly can. They're all doing incredible work everywhere you look in Greater West Bloomfield. Last question, Hannah, where can people go to gain a little bit more information about the society if maybe the parents are interested in it or if the kids want to work to become a part of it someday?
So there is the official National Juniors Honor Society website, and they have so many amazing resources. They actually offer things like scholarships for students as well. So there's a lot of great resources there. again, something that I want to work on and I have as a goal for our school, our chapter specifically, is to maybe have a social media page or a website page where teachers and students, parents and students can engage with and find information on. So that is something that I kind of want to work on for our chapter specifically.
We want to see this society continue to grow, more students become a part of it, and more change happening everywhere you look. Hannah, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you so much for having me.
So many incredible things that these middle school kids are accomplishing at such a young age. The National Junior Honor Society making a difference everywhere you look in the greater West Bloomfield community. And that's going to do it for us today here on the Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on the Splash Live team for helping to make this show possible every single day. I've been your host, Jake Schaff, live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV.